Good day. For this week's topic, I'll be going to discuss to you about holistic dynamic theory by Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow was born in New York. He was the eldest among his seven siblings. Maslow himself described his childhood as unhappy and lonely. Instead of going out with friends, he often goes to libraries for books to keep him company. His parents were Jewish immigrants from Russia. His father was Samuel Maslow, was often absent during his childhood, and his mother was Rose Maslow, whom he developed a grave hatred on to the extent that Abraham did not even bother to go to her funeral. There was this time when Abraham adopted two kittens and fed them in their basement. Her mother, Rose, eventually found out and became furious when she saw them. So she smashed the kittens into the wall, eventually killing them in front of Abraham. So that also contributed to his hatred on his mother. Since his mother was very religious, she often threatened young Maslow with punishments from God, resulting to Maslow's mistrust on religion and him becoming atheist. Even after several years of psychoanalysis, he never overcame his deep hatred towards his mother. Maslow earned all of his degree in psychology at the University of Wisconsin. He married his first cousin, Bertha Goodman, at the age of 20, and they had two daughters. His death at the age of 62 on June 8, 1970 was caused by a heart attack. Holistic dynamic theory basically suggests that all humans have the potential to strive towards self-actualization or psychological growth, and that we are motivated by our needs. But before tackling those needs, I just want to cite some assumptions of Maslow in view of motivation. First, he assumed that neither a single part nor a certain function of the person is motivated, rather the person as a whole. Second, motivation is usually complex, which means it may root from different motives. For instance, sex. The person does not only strive to satisfy his or her biological need, but may also spring from his or her need for belongingness or dominance. Motivation can also be unconscious. For instance, motivation for academic excellence may mask the need of the person for power. Third, people are continually motivated by one need or another. For instance, when an individual has fulfilled his or her hunger or need for food, then it is replaced by another need, such as belongingness or esteem. Fourth, all of us are motivated by the same basic needs, meaning that our fundamental needs are common to all, regardless of the manner or the way we fulfill it. Fifth, needs that motivate our behaviors can be arranged in a hierarchy with respect to their potency. Hierarchy of needs indicates that needs from the lower levels of hierarchy must be relatively or more or less satisfied before the higher levels become activated, meaning a need does not require to be 100% or completely satisfied before moving to a higher level of need. This hierarchy is composed of cognitive needs such as physiological, safety, love and belongingness, esteem, and self-actualization. They are arranged in order in such a manner that lower levels have prepotency on the higher levels, meaning lower needs must be substantially gratified in order for the person to be motivated by a higher one. For instance, a hungry person, he feels no urge to satisfy his need for esteem because he's busy satisfying his physiological needs, specifically his need for food. Maslow also described these needs as instinctoid, meaning they are already embedded to us since birth. So, however, the behavior or the way they are fulfilled are or expressed are a matter of learning and are nurtured. Physiological needs are needs that are essential for human survival. Therefore, behavior is primarily motivated to fulfill the need for hunger, thirst, sex, oxygen, sleep, and others. And it is the most prepotent of all. And when people are starved or deprived of these needs, they are most likely to commit to any actions in order to satisfy them. At times, people may possibly resort to immoral acts such as stealing or killing. Moreover, physiological needs are the only needs that can be completely or overly satisfied and has the ability to recur. Once this need is gratified, an individual becomes motivated by his needs for safety. Safety needs, which include the need for security, stability, dependency, protection, and freedom from anxiety and chaos. For instance, law and order, financial stability, health, and medical care. However, these needs cannot be overly satisfied since safety from natural disasters such as earthquakes, floods, or even crimes are not guaranteed. According to Maslow, when people are unsuccessful on their attempt on satisfying these needs, they suffer from basic anxiety. Once safety needs are fulfilled, the need for love and belongingness becomes salient. In this level of need, behavior is motivated by an individual's interpersonal relations, such as the desire for friendship, love, intimacy, family, and group affiliations. And then esteem needs, which include self-respect, confidence, competence, and others. Maslow categorized these needs into two: reputation, the need to obtain recognition and appreciation from others, and self esteem, which obviously represents one's confident view of himself. Lastly, the highest form of need, self-actualization, which involves self-fulfillment and discovery of one's full potential. Maslow refers to the stage where an individual can accomplish everything he can and become the most that he can be. But moving to this highest form of need after fulfilling esteem needs to some degree actually requires whether we embrace our B values or not. These B values or being values are meta needs that motivate self-actualizing people. These needs include the love for truth, beauty, justice, and goodness. Some characteristics of lower and higher needs. Maslow referred lower needs as deficiency needs because failure to satisfy these needs produce a crisis to an individual. These needs are also necessary for survival. They have greater strength and potency contrary to higher needs, and that they emerge starting from infancy. While higher needs are called as growth needs because although it has less contribution to an individual's survival, nevertheless, satisfaction of these needs can contribute to one's personal growth, and that they emerge during the latter course of one's development. Additionally, Maslow identified three other needs. Aesthetic needs, although they are not universal, but for some people they are motivated by their need for beauty and aesthetically pleasing experiences. Cognitive needs, which involve the need for knowledge, understanding, curiosity, and exploration. These needs are actually essential to satisfy each of the five cognitive needs because they determine on how those needs are to be fulfilled. For instance, in food and safety needs, an individual must know how to secure food and build shelter. Neurotic needs, they are non-productive. These needs represent an unhealthy style of life and hold no value in striving for self-actualization. Regardless of whether these needs are gratified or not, they will only lead to stagnation and psychopathology. In some instances, behaviors are driven by unconscious motivation and are caused by other factors such as drugs or conditioned reflexes. These behaviors are called as expressive behaviors. On the other hand, behaviors that are motivated by a need and are conscious are called as coping behaviors. Deprivation of needs may lead to some sort of pathology. For instance, deprivation of a physiological need, such as the need for food, may lead to malnutrition, while deprivation of need for self-actualization may result to metapathology, which defined by Maslow as the absence of values, lack of fulfillment, and loss of meaning of life. Maslow characterized self-actualizing people based on these following qualities. Self-actualizing people are able to perceive the world and its people more clearly without prejudice or personal biases. They have fully come to terms with who they are, their weaknesses and strengths, along with other people's and the society. Self-actualizing people are spontaneous. They are direct and natural. They also focus on problems outside themselves. They recognize their solitude without feeling lonely. They are autonomous. They have great appreciation towards all the blessings they are given. They experience peak experiences, which are mystical moments of transcendence or feelings of ecstasy and wonder. They have social interests, as defined by Adler, the sense of oneness with all the humanity. They have profound and deep interpersonal relations. They have democratic character structure. They uphold strong moral and ethical standards and has a clear sense between what is right and wrong. They prefer philosophical humors rather than insulting ones. They possess a creative approach to life, and they are less likely influenced by the society and its standards. Self-actualizers differ from others based on their motivation. Meta-motivation is beyond the scope of basic needs, and the self-actualizing person is said to be developing from within. While demotivation are for non-self-actualizing people, they are motivated by their deficiency need or to fulfill something that they lack. Self-actualizers evolve around meta-needs. These needs are not associated with an object and beyond the scope of basic needs. These needs are considered as what I've said earlier, B values, which is an ultimate level of need. And the failure to satisfy this need may lead to metapathology. So, to measure self-actualization, Everett Shostrom developed a test called Personal Orientation Inventory, which are composed of 150 pairs of statements that assess the values and behaviors of self-actualizers. Maslow also proposed Jonah complex, which is based on the biblical story of Prophet Jonah. He described this complex as the fear of being one's best or simply doubting one's own abilities. So Maslow's psychotherapy aims for patients to embrace their B values by freeing themselves from their dependency on others and move towards self-actualization. Most cases, patients seek therapy due to the unsatisfaction of their love and belongingness needs. Hence, psychotherapy is done by establishing warm and healthy relationships between the therapist and patient, resulting to the patient's acquisition of self-worth and confidence, and eventually is able to form relationships outside therapy. So that would be all. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've understood the theory well.